Okay everyone, this will be the instruction for your final activity for this design class, design of steel structure. So bali ang gagawin natin is ipo-perform natin yung pinakalas na kailangan gawin. Actually, para dun sa steel design lang. So of course, marami pa yung ibang mga parts na dapat i-consider kung kabuuang structure yung i-design. So andyan yung foundation and some other things to consider. But for steel, ang pinakalas natin actually dito is connection design. Okay? So connection design. So to be able to do this, we'll have to be able to complete yung analysis muna. So meron dapat tayong laman ng post-processing. So pag binuksan natin to, may results tayo. Ibig sabihin wala tayong error dun sa ating result ng analysis. And also dapat meron tayong result ng design. And dapat pasado lahat to as much as possible. Actually dapat walang bagsak wala. Wala dapat bagsak dito sa may design para pagdating dun sa connection design, maayos na lahat. So in a regular setting, hindi natatapos dun sa connection design. Kadalasan kung bumabagsak dito, bumabalik tayo dun sa model natin and then binabago natin yung model. But for yung ating structure, maybe kung pasado na lahat dito sa may post-processing and okay na yung design, I think we can just proceed with yung connection design and then tapusin lang natin yung content niya and we can now produce yung necessary na mga plans and then reports. So hintayin ko lang to kasi merong existing na mga inputs ako dun sa may connection design ko. Let me just remove all of this. Okay. Now, buksan yung lectures regarding connection design, yung mga commands na dapat gawin and other pertinent na information. So, ang ibibigay ko lang dito is basic instruction. Okay. Now, ang gagawin natin first is to establish yung mga seismic frames natin kasi importante to. So, i-click natin yung seismic frames and then pupunta tayo dito sa may select joints and then look for BCF. Yan, so BCF tayo. Isi-select natin lahat yung mga beam column flange joints. So, selected lahat siya. So, pag tinignan natin dun sa ating 3D, ayan. So, yung beam natin nakakonect dun sa mga flange ng ating column. Okay? And then, after nyan is i-click natin tong create seismic frame. This is to make sure na yung makikreate na mga connection dito is dun sa ating type ng seismic frame. Kasi gusto natin na naka-special moment frame tayo as per requirement ng building. So, special moment frame tayo. So, pwede naman na hindi natin to gawin pero mahihirapan tayo dun sa input kasi babago-baguhin natin one by one yung connection kapag ganun yung case. So, as much as possible, gumamit tayo ng seismic frame. So, seismic frame, okay. And we can certainly put inputs dito sa may, so pakibalikan ulit yung lecture about this. So, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng CH, A, B, C? Okay, it's all about yung mga RBS connections. Kasi ang pinaka-basic na type ng connection dito na available sa STAAD is RBS lang. I mean, yung basic na, particularly dito sa STAAD, pero dun sa ibang mga products ng Bentley, meron silang mga ibang mga options. But for now, RBS lang yung option natin. Okay. So, balik ako dito. You can certainly put inputs dito, pero ang hirap maglagay ng inputs dito sa may tabulation. So, I think it would be better if diretso natin ilalagay dun sa ating connection design. So, I'll just leave this one as is because there's something wrong with the UI. So, may bug. So, i-close ko lang yan. So, I'm done with creating seismic frame for my BCFs. Gawin din natin yan para dun sa mga BCW dun sa beam column web. So, click on beam column web and then ganun din yung gagawin natin. Same thing. So, if I'm going to open the 3D rendering, yung mga beams natin nakakonekta dun sa may flange ng ating mga columns, mga supporting elements. And then we click on create seismic. Same thing pa rin, seismic connection pa rin siya. Hindi natin gagawing intermediate. Although we can certainly use other connection types, but for us to maintain yung parang uniformity ng structure, gagawin nating seismic frame na SMF lahat. Okay? And I think from there, okay na tayo. I think okay na tayo dito, no? And then, so after nito, we can now proceed and create yung mga connection designs natin. So we're done with this. So technically, actually, ang ginagawa ko, if I'm doing seismic frame, per frame talaga, literal na per frame, there are certain advantages. So hindi ko ginagawa na select joints and then ilalagyan ko ng seismic frame. But for this demonstration, it would be easier if minsanan na, ganyan na. And then BCW din. So anyway, babalik tayo dun sa connections and then makikreate na tayo ng mga inputs natin for yung connection design. So again, select natin yung BCF muna. Okay, and then makikreate tayo ng mga smart connections. Right? So I'm not going, you can certainly use yung mga basics, pero basic connection. But, wait lang. Zoom it. Alright. So we can certainly use yung basic connections, pero I do not really recommend this for now. So we're going to use smart connections, and then since we have yung BCF, ito yung gagamitin natin. But of course, kailangan nating palitan yung design code. So ang gagamitin natin dito is 360-10 LRFD, unless kung ASD yung ginamit ninyo. So depende sa ginamit ninyo na design methodology. But for me, it's LRFD. And then I'm going to tick yung consider seismic frame. Okay, and then after nyan is pipiliin ko yung combination na panggagalingan ng gravity load. So in my list, if you have the primary load case for dead load, yun yung gagamitin niyo. But in my case, wala ako nun because nakalagay dun sa may reference load. So dito hindi niya ipapakita. So yung value niya makukuha ko dito dito kasi sa may generate load number 1 siya. Ito yung 1.4 DL. If I'm not mistaken, ito yung combination niya. So ito yung pipiliin ko na source ng gravity loads ko. Okay? And then after nyan is I'm going to select yung DWBCF dito, and then lalagay natin dun sa selected elements or selected type of connection, and then we press OK. I'll just wait until this completes, and then we can now start designing yung mga connections natin. And as you can see, dun sa discussion ng connection design, kapag red, ibig sabihin ay bagsak. Certainly because yung mga ratio natin dito is beyond 1. And apart from that, kung yung ating kulay is not green, ibig sabihin may hindi tayo ginawang maayos. So as much as possible, dapat lahat yan green. And certainly dapat hindi red. Now kapag yellow or kaya I think orange yung kulay, so it means that meron tayong mga dapat na i-adjust as per code requirement. But they are certainly optional sometimes. Pero tingnan natin maigi dun sa provision ng code. So, currently, bagsak lahat yung ating connection. So, kailangan nating ayusin. Okay, so let me just fix this first. Do-double click natin dito sa my connection number 1 to bring out yung connection pad na ito yung RAM connection design window. Okay, now you might have difficulty later on if you are familiar with connection design because magkaiba sila dun sa may standalone na RAM connection. So meron kasing separate na software para dito. Pero for yung kakailanganin natin, this will suffice. So pwede na to. Now, the reason behind kung bakit tayo nag-create ng mga seismic frame is because, ayan, hindi na natin kailangang i-activate pa dito. So, hindi pa natin minamanual na linalagay yung seismic provision dito. Instead, automatic na ilalagay na niya. And then, gagamitin niya yung tamang type ng seismic connection. However, yung ating information para dun sa ating RBS is not really in line with yung requirement ng wala tayong input dun sa may ABC, A, B, and C. Okay, so most likely tayo yung maglalagay dito ng basic inputs. So, yan, gagawin natin tong passing. So, let me just do this quick. We will consider stability. So, i-check ko yan. Okay, and then I'm not supposed to change yung mga section properties ko. And then I'm just going to put inputs doon sa aking plastic hinge para dun sa may RBS ko. So let me just start by 2 and then 8 and then 2. I can change this C into 1. Let me just use 1.5. And then maglalagay tayo ng transverse on both top and bottom. Full length. And then yan, so yung length ng ating transverse is, let me make this one 3 inches. And as you can see, bumababa yung ating ratio dito. We are going to add doubler plate. Flush doon sa connection. That will do. And ayun, mukhang it's below yung ating required. So, what else? Naka-orange o naka-yellow. It means that meron tayong hindi nagawang maayos dun sa inputs natin. So, let's just check. So, may mga X mark dito, meaning kailangan nating ayusin sila. So, just like yung weld size para dun sa may transverse connection, okay, so dapat ang minimum niya is 3/16. Hindi. 4/16 daw sabi dito. So, 4/16 daw pero yung nakalagay dun sa input is 3. And then yung A, B, and C natin, they are beyond yung mga limitations. So, dapat ang gagamitin natin sa A is around mga 4.7. And then dito is 5 point, yung letter B is 7 lang siguro. And then this one is 1.3. So 2.5. So maganda na i-record natin yan sa notepad siguro so that you can easily check this. So yung weld natin for yung ating transverse stiffener is dapat 4/16. Okay? So 4/16 dito. And yung ating A will be 2.6 or 7. Yung B is equal to 7 inches. So, isa pa pala na dapat tignan natin lagi, dapat naka English units kasi to. So, wag tayo magkakamali dun sa mga inputs natin ng mga values. Yung C is 3. And then what else? Ayan, so ang sabi niya dito, naka CJP dapat yung connection. Okay, so parang complete joint penetration siya. So, susundan natin yung provision na to. So, let me just close this one and then i-modify natin yung mga kailangan. So, like for instance, yung transverse na weld size dapat is 4/16. Mukhang hindi pa rin nagbabago because hindi pa natin nababago yung RBS. So, ito naman. Ito naman yung susunod. As per record, this should be 2.7. Yung distance ng, oops. Okay, this is the distance of the RBS connection from the column face. And then this should be limited to 7 inches lang daw. And then dapat ito 1.3 lang. And it seems like ganun pa rin, no? 0.86. So, ang gagamitin natin na weld type will be full weld, which is coming from yung ating panel zone stiffener, which is yung ating doubler plate. So, ang gagamitin natin dito is instead of fillet weld, gagamit tayo ng full penetration. So, complete penetration, and that would also apply dun sa ating transverse stiffener. Full penetration din. And as you can see, green na yung ating connection. Okay, so this is one of the problem for yung sa version ng STAAD na to. I mean, ng RAM connection na connected sa STAAD kasi may mga inputs na iba dun sa inputs ng standalone na RAM connection. So, supposed to be dapat yung checking dito ng full CJP nakakonekta dito sa may beam dapat. Ayan. So, yung full penetration weld dapat dito nakalagay sana dapat dito. But anyway, it doesn't matter. For as long as pasado yung ating design, ang next is, let me just confirm yung results. We'll have to make a copy of this. So, mamili kayo kung alin yung pipiliin nyo na sample. So, I can just click on show formula to display all of the computations and para ma-check nyo kung tama ba yung mga laman niya as per manual computation. Kasi sometimes may mga mali dito. Kapag hindi na, I mean, every software of course will have their own sets of bugs kasi of course human inputs pa rin to kahit sabihin na natin computerized. So, as much as possible, we have yung code and then pwede nating i-verify kung tama or kung may mali man, we can easily check them. So, I think okay naman na yung result nito. Um, has been verified dun sa manual computation dun sa lecture. So, ang gagawin ko is i-export ko muna yan sa aking desktop. So, I'm going to create a folder para dun sa design result. Yan. Still design result. Yan. Still design result. And then sample connection design. And then that will do. Next is export natin yung CAD drawing ng ating what do you call this? Yung CAD model ng ating yung connection design natin. So dito sa may DXF, yan, ito yung itsura niya. Okay? So as indicated dito, naka full weld na field weld yung ating connections. And we are also given the dimensions of yung ating connection. Okay. So, ito yung mga dimensions ng ating stiffener. And, ayan. So, full weld yung ating connection. Yung column connection natin ay beam and column connection natin. So, naka full weld yan. Full penetration. And with that, we can now export this and I can just place this on the same folder. Sample plan maybe. Let me just use a scale of 1:1. Okay, kasi mas maganda yung ganito muna tayo as much as possible so that later on we can just easily scale it. Wala tayong madadamage na dimensions or hindi tayo magkakaroon ng problem dun sa dimensions. Okay, that's it. I can just close this. Save ko lang yan and then close and yan, I'm done with one connection. So I have still like 82. But of course, that is only for BCF. Kailangan din natin gawin the same for BCW. Okay, and then same thing, smart connection, AISC 360-10 LRFD, consider Seismic, generated NSCP LRFD number 1 combination, and then instead of BCF, ang gagamitin ko is BWD na directly welded. So, huwag tayong gumamit ng fully DW kasi medyo mahirap gawan to ng paraan. So as much as possible, we use yung basic lang na DW BW. So yan. So directly welded BCW. And then all right. Press OK. And then that will do for now. And yun, ayusin na lang natin yung design. So gagawin nating passing lahat to by manually manipulating each of yung mga connections. This will be quite easy kasi binabago lang natin yung input. Okay, para dun sa exported na document, isa lang yung kailangan natin. So I've already here my sample plan, yung plan na ginawa natin para dun sa design ng frame. I can now proceed and saan na ba yun? Open my desktop and then sample Okay, sample plan. Ito yung kailangan natin. So, let me just copy everything. And then, lagay ko sa my mainframe. Alright, so 1:1 yung scaling niya. I can just remove some of the excess drawing and ito yung ating gagamitin. Alright, so instead na isa-isa natin ilalagay kasi ilan ba yun? Nasa almost around 200 plus ata yun na connections. So hindi natin gagawin yon. It would be ill-advised na gawin natin because hindi rin naman siya magagamit ng maayos. So instead, itatabulate natin per BCW and then um, BCF and then BCW. So yung sa BCF muna, beam column flange connection. Okay. So yung tabulation natin would comprise of yung dimension ng ating transverse connection. So transverse is stiffener kumbaga. So this will be depende sa gusto nyong setup. Gawin kong A eto. And then per better yet kasi may A value na kasi tayo dun sa ating RBS connection. So ito gagawin kong D siguro. D. And then ito yung ating A if I'm not mistaken. Sa connection design, ito yung B. And then ito yung tama. Ito yung C. And the rest, we do not really need these dimensions because ito na yung so dun sa connection design natin, I would recommend na gawin nating pare-parehas na lang. So, wag na nating bawasan yung dimension ng mga stiffeners natin. We just go for full connections. Like, dito, full depth yung gamitin natin for yung transverse and then flush doon sa may panel zone doubler plate. Para hindi na tayo namomroblema sa mga dimensions natin kasi medyo marami yung mga connections. Okay, and then, ano pa ba? Ito rin, wala na rin yan. Okay, and then we can delete this information and that would do actually. Pwede nating lagyan ng better na label. So ito yung beam. We can delete the steel type or steel section type, and then that would be your column. So ganyan yung ating sample plan. This is for yung BCW plan. So pwede tayong maglagay dito ng label. So lagay ko dito typical beam column flange connection. Let me just make this one better. And ayusin ko lang yung symbol o yung labels niya. And then, saka tayo gagawa ng tabulation. So, saan ba yung sorry, medyo hindi ko kabisado ang what do you call this? AutoCAD. medyo rusty na ako dito sa paggamit ng software. So anyway, I can just type table. And then, so ano ba yung mga gagawin nating um, columns? So kailangan nating i-consider yung label. Okay, so may label tayo. So parang connection number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then yung mga grid labels natin. So dalawa yung grids natin. For yung yung horizontal and vertical. So that would be 3 columns all in all plus yung A, B, C, and D dimensions natin. So apat. So I think yun lang. So 4 plus yung 3 bali 7 lahat. Yan. So ganyan yung tabulation natin. So this will be beam column flange, and we should have like the dash doon sa may column flange or beam column, tapos schedule. Okay, so isa-isay natin sila. Ito yung label niya. Let me just zoom this display. Label, and then ito yung para dun sa grid vertical, grid horizontal, and then ito yung A. Okay. And most probably dapat millimeter dapat yan kasi we are using SI units. So dapat i-convert natin to lahat. Yan. So B, ganun din, millimeter, convert din natin yan. C, and then D, millimeter. So yung first connection natin is bang connection yun? Okay, so etong connection na to dun sa plan, ano bang grid yan? A4. So label 1, grid 1, A4. And then yung mga labels ko will be, yung A is, ilan ba yung A? 2.7 inches. That is 69 mm. 7 is 170 kasi malapit to sa limit, so hindi ko pwedeng gawing 178. So 177 mm yan. Excuse me, medyo nawawala yung display. So 1.3 times 25.4, that is 33. 33. And then yung D is, I think 3 inches yung ginamit natin na dimension. So 3 times 25.4, that is 76.2 mm. And that's it for yung unang connection natin. Format this a little better. I think that will do. And then, siguro scale na lang natin. Right. So, that's it. And then, idadagdag nyo na lang lahat yung mga yung mga values. So, of course, ang label nito is beam, column, plunge, schedule. We do not have any scale. Okay. Dapat ang scale pala nito is 1:1. Or you can just place there and TS. And with that, you're done with yung BCF. Ang kulang na lang is yung BCW. And you're pretty much done with yung plan ninyo. So, you can now finish yung, ano to? Yung title block. So, bahala kayo kung ano yung gagawin ninyong itsura ng title block ninyo. So, ang pangalan na ilalagay ninyo guys is yung group number ninyo. If you can stick your initials doon, why not? So, pwede rin naman. Ilagay nyo yung initials ninyo kung gusto ninyo for, of course, gawa ninyo. So, why not ilagay yung initials kung kakayanin doon sa may page. Pero ang gusto ko makita doon is group number and then some other informations na dapat nakalagay doon sa ating title block. And i-convert natin to sa PDF. So, please take note na yung plan natin is naka A3. Alright? So, naka A3 yan. So, dapat yung file na pag kinonvert natin, naka A3 din. And that is for yung plan. Okay, save ko lang to. That is para dun sa plan. Ang susunod is gagawin na natin yung report. Okay? So, yung report, yung pinaka-final report ninyo will be yung consolidated report. Okay, what do you mean by that? From day 1 until now, so nag-submit kayo ng mga reports. I think around 7 all in all, no? So 7 reports hindi, 6 reports all in all. So pagsasama-samahin natin lahat 'yan. So from yung ating schematic design, plus yung inputs ng mga loadings, yung computation ng mga lateral loads, dead loads and gravity loads and lateral loads, together with the analysis part. Wala tayong report ata for design. Doesn't matter. So, ang consolidate natin lahat yung report, tatanggalin natin yung mga redundant. Okay? So, tatanggalin natin yung mga redundant kasi may mga reports tayo na pinasama ko yung plan, no? Para may reference ako. So, tanggalin nyo yung redundant and then you're going to stick the following dun sa pinaka-last part. Of course, for every ganito yung gagawin natin. I really cannot show you a sample kasi medyo madami. So, ang gagawin na lang natin is ganito. So, bali yung structure will be front page. Okay, so ilagay natin dito yung title. You have the freedom to choose your own title. And then, so title dito. You use any design that you want, basta professional siya tignan. Wag natin masyadong gawing makulay. So, ang gusto natin is simplistic pero na professional. At the same time, creative pa rin. Ayan. And then, dito is group number, and then name. Okay, and then instructor. That should be names. Instructor. So, dito sa title, I think it would be better if you're going to stick the subject below. Subject dito sa ilalim. So, course or subject. And then yung susunod dito is table of contents. Right? So, dapat ibig sabihin nito, may page kayo dapat for every report. So, ito yung report number 1 natin. So, ano ba yun? Schematic, di ba? Schematic design. Or whatever title we have used. And then, tsaka natin stick dito yung report natin for that particular activity. And then, next is, ano ba yun? computation of dead load ba? So, ganun lang yung sequence natin. And then, yung mismong report, followed by yung report number 3. So, report number 3 title, and then, sunod-sunod na yan, and then, dun sa pinaka-last, connection design kasi yung ating pinaka-last. Ayan, so sa connection design, ang gagawin natin is, we're going to copy the tabulation for yung connection design. So, kukopihin natin to. Lalagay natin dito. Copy this and paste. Together with yung sample connection design dito. Ayan. So, sample connection design, lagay natin dito sa may pinaka-last. Ayan. And then, that's it. You're done with the report. One more thing pala na dapat tanggalin. Tanggalin nyo lahat yung mga, what do you call this? Yung sa analytical. Tanggalin nyo lahat yung mga linagay natin ng mga command file. Kasi masyadong mahaba na kung ilalagay pa natin yun. Tanggalin natin yung command file. We do not need them dun sa ating report. So, ang kailangan lang is, ang gagawin natin, tanggalin lahat ng mga redundant, tanggalin lahat yung mga command file, lagyan ng tamang order yung ating report, as mentioned dito kanina, and then, lagyan natin ng table of contents with paging, page numbers, and then that's it. You convert the report into its PDF format. So, ilan na yung file natin? Dalawa na. So, yung una is yung A3 plan ng ating structure. Again, for yung plan natin, I would suggest na maglagay kayo dito ng front page maybe. Ang front page na A3 din. Supposed to be yung laman yung front page is yung 3D 3D nung structure. You can certainly do that, pero I'll give you the freedom to do whatever you want. So, pwedeng blank lang tapos merong title, or you can also do yung sinabi ko na maglalagay kayo ng 3D nung structure. And then if you can find general notes for still design na makita nyo somewhere else, pwede nyo i-stick doon sa may front page. So, I mean, is parang ganito. Tapos, I think it would be quite easy kasi STAAD has its own 3D rendering. Then I can just scale this to fit my drawing area. Ayan. And then lalagyan ko na lang ng labels. That will be my front page if I want to. I recommend doing this, but it's up to you guys kung paano nyo pagagandahin yung front page. So parang part ng creativity na rin yun. You will be graded based on that. And then, after nyan, yun, converted dapat to sa PDF file. Tapos, so that would be document number 1. Document number 2 will be yung final report ninyo. And then, document number 3 will be i-convert nyo. So, isa-separate natin to, ilalagay natin sa notepad. So, notepad, tapos command file, paste the content here sa my notepad. Yan. So, kung ano man yung mga nilagay nun yung inputs, you close everything and save this. This will be your document number 3. And then, submit everything doon sa ating official na submission link. Alright? And you are required, all members are required to submit an individual copy of yung report. And once you're done, yun ang yung pinaka-final na requirement ninyo. Hindi na natin gagawin yung oral presentation because medyo mahaba yung process ng paggawa ng connection design. So, medyo matatagalan kayo dito. So, I would highly suggest that uh, you do it as soon as possible para mabawasan yung gagawin, hindi na tayo maggagawa ng oral presentation. So, I guess yun lamang guys.